Okay, this is your third lesson in the Religions and Peace unit. Hopefully you've worked through lessons 1 and 2 already. If not, please go back to them and show my homework. But if you have, then jot down this title and today's date. It'll be different to the date that you see on the screen. And your starter is an unjumbling of a verse from the Bible, a teaching of Jesus. You've got several words there in purple. Peacemakers of, blessed are the, called they, for God will children be. Obviously they're not in the right order. Your starter is to try and work out what the correct order should be. If you get totally stuck, you just can't work it out, have a go at the alternative task instead, okay, that's there in red, and just write out an answer to that. Okay, pause the video while you do the starter, please, and see how you do on the next slide. And here's the answer. Matthew 5, verse 9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God." Many Christians reading this in the Bible would see it as meaning that if they can bring peace in a situation where there is conflict, then they are doing God's will. They're doing what God would want them to do. And today's lesson is all about religions and peacemaking, as you can see from your title. Okay, here are the objectives for this lesson, which, by the way, has 4 videos to watch later on in the lesson, so do be aware of those links in the Show My Homework notes. But here's the objectives. So everyone's going to do some note-taking, understanding how and why peacemakers do their work, both religious and non-religious peacemakers. Most people should be able to say whether they think violence is a good way to end violence. Okay, is it a good thing to fight to get peace? And some of you might do some thinking about the wording of an opinion statement and how changing the wording can really affect what it means. Okay, in your exercise book or whatever you're writing in, please put a little subtitle, non-religious peacemaking. And I'd like you to take some notes from this slide, please, about the United Nations peacekeeping force. So this is a force of soldiers and engineers, medical personnel, other people who would serve in an army, and who are sent to various parts of the world where there is or has been or might be conflict to help keep peace. And as you can see in the photo, they always wear these blue helmets or blue sort of headgear, so they are easily recognizable, and they are drawn from all sorts of countries in the world. All the countries that are represented in the United Nations can send members of their armed forces to be in the United Nations peacekeeping force. So they perform various tasks such as helping refugees, clearing landmines and distributing aid. They are armed, so they look like soldiers, but they do their best not to get involved with local conflict. They are there to, as it says, keep the peace, to make sure other people don't start conflicts. Right, there is a video link for this slide, so find it in the Show My Homework notes, please. Should be the first one, and watch that and make some notes about what they do from the video and also from the phrases and words in bold on this slide. Okay, thank you. Now, there's a bit of extra information and a thinking question for anyone who's aiming for a target grade of 6 or above. Can peacekeepers ever be completely neutral if a conflict starts where they are? Some people say they aren't very useful, the United Nations peacekeeping, because they don't want to be seen to be taking sides. They don't want to come down on one side or the other if there's a local conflict. So do you think it's possible for a force like this to be completely neutral, to never take sides, or will there always be some way in which they will have to take sides if a conflict starts in a particular country? Have a go at that question. Just a short answer in your book. Right, now we're going to look at some examples of religious peacemaking on this slide and the next slide. And again, there's a video to watch here. So please take some notes from the information on the slide, at least the words and phrases that are in bold text. So there are many groups, religious groups and people who have tried to make and promote peace. One of these is a woman called Mairead Corrigan, a Catholic Christian who founded an organisation called Peacemaking in Northern Ireland in the 1970s. Now, this was in a time when there was a lot of conflict in Northern Ireland and about the Northern Ireland situation that spread into Great Britain, spread into England. And this is known as the Troubles. It was a religious and political conflict between Catholics and Protestants, and the way they thought Northern Ireland should or shouldn't be part of the United Kingdom, which lasted about 30 years in the late 20th century, but the roots of the conflict go back a lot further than that. So Peace People was a very important sort of organisation. And Mairead Corrigan was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1976. So yeah, watch her video and get some notes down about why she started the group. Okay, on this slide we're going to learn a bit more about Islam and other religions as well, and peacemaking, including copying down and highlighting the verse from the Quran that you can see there. So Islam is a religion of peace. The name itself has a relation to the Arabic word for peace, but it is hard for Muslims to say that they are fully pacifist. If you are a devout Muslim, being also a devout pacifist would be difficult because of the belief in jihad. Now, we learnt about jihad earlier in the year, and if you remember, there are two types of jihad. Greater jihad, which is the personal inward struggle for all Muslims to live the right way in line with the teachings of their faith. But there is also the lesser jihad, the outward struggle to defend one's faith from threat. Okay, so this belief in lesser jihad might mean that Muslims would be ready to fight to defend their faith if need be. However, the Quran does also teach that peace must not be refused if it is offered. Okay, here's that quote. If they, unbelievers, incline to peace, that literally means lean, so if the people you're fighting against want peace, then you should incline to it also, you should want it also, and rely upon Allah. That's from the 8th surah in the Quran, verse 61. So can you please copy that verse down and highlight it in your book so it stands out, please? Okay, here's the third video that you need to watch for this lesson. It features some religious leaders talking about coming together after a terrorist attack. Leaders from various different religions showing unity, working for peace by joining together to protest peacefully. So what you're going to need to do here, please, is watch that video and copy out the quotes from the three religious leaders and fill in the words that go in the gaps. Okay, I've taken these quotes from the words that they say on the video, so you're going to need to watch and listen carefully and try and fill in the gaps correctly. Okay, have a go at that, please. Obviously, you can watch the video more than once if you need to. Right, this is your final task, and this is the piece of writing to submit to your teacher, please, either via email or on Show My Homework, so that you can show that you've done this lesson's work. Now, there's a clip, another video clip, as I said there before. So this is from BBC sci-fi show Doctor Who. Some of you may watch it, some of you may not. And it's a scene in which the Doctor is trying to basically stop people pushing a button that will start a massive war between humans and this alien race. And he gives various arguments that many people would agree with if they were in a sort of conflict situation. So have a watch of that, please. And then when you've done that, you can come back to this statement: you can only fight violence with violence. And I'd like you to choose either green, orange or red to answer. Okay, normally in lessons you would probably know which colour you normally go for, but obviously you can push yourself and write the best answer that you possibly can to submit to your teacher. Okay, well done, have a go.